at home, we're going to turn to a current event happening this weekend. Louie Bellson was an American jazz drummer and a pioneering member of the musical genre. He was born in Rock Falls, Illinois in 1924 and then moved with his family to Moline, where he graduated from Moline High School. At just 15 years old, Louie pioneered the double bass drum setup and would later be called, by Duke Ellington, the world's greatest musician. Now, Louie passed away in 2009, but his 100th birthday is happening this Saturday. And joining us now to talk about the local legend is Quad City musician Josh Duffee. Josh, thanks so much for being back with us.
Thanks so much for having me. This is great.
I can understand the snare drum you have with us has a lot of importance to Louie's birthday.
Yes, this is what I saw him performing on when I first saw him in 1996. And fast forward to when he and his wife were deciding what to do with his drum sets. They wanted me to have one back here in the Quad Cities. And this is his actual drum that I saw him performing on. So this is Louie's snare. And so this upcoming Saturday with the 100th birthday, I'm going to be out at the Riverside Cemetery right when he was born at 3:30 in the afternoon. And I'm going to be playing the snare drum solo to wish him a happy birthday. And I hope the community would want to stop out at the cemetery and wish him a happy birthday as well, because it's that big centennial year. And so for such a great man that came from our area and did so much for music and just life in general.
Let's talk about what he did for music. What was, I mean, we could talk about this forever, but what was his influence on the art of percussion?
He was one that really invented the drum clinic, and that's where he would then set up a snare drum or a drum set and then teach the younger generation. And he even told me, he's like, without the younger generation, our music just fades away. And so he even told me, he goes, your drumsticks are like brushes. And then when you have your drum heads, it's like a canvas. He's like, paint me a musical picture. And so it was this great creative art that he approached the drums musically, just not pounding, but he was writing arrangements, composing music, and getting to play with some of the top musicians of the day.
Yeah, talk about that. Who were some of the musicians he collaborated with?
Well, he graduated Moline High School in 1942, and right out of there he was with Ted Fiorito's orchestra, but then he was playing with Benny Goodman's orchestra, one of the top big bands in the country. And he remembers listening to them when he was a teenager and putting on the 78 RPM record, then fast forward to here he is 18 years old playing with the best band in the country.
Wow. And I understand you can demonstrate for us a little bit.
Yes, he taught me some of the techniques because I learned from him when he'd come back to the area here. So it's great for me to be able to share little things that he taught me.
Okay, what's one of the things that he taught you?
So the Papa Joe Jones brush technique, and so I'll just do a little sample of that.
Oh my gosh. I love when drums sound musical. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a tap dancer. So,
yeah.
and Louie tap dance, as did Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa, a lot of the early guys. And so it's a part of that dance drumming back in the day.
Wow. And what about that actual, or what about what you just played is something that he invented or
that was all improvised, but it's part of the style. And that's what Papa Joe Jones did with Count Basie, and that's who he learned that from. And then Big Sid Catlett, another great player there. But the neat thing is I learned a lot of this from him, being able to talk to him. So when he came back to the Quad Cities for the Louie Bellson Jazz Festival, he wanted to talk to the community. He loved coming back here. So that's why I feel it's just so important that the community recognizes this great man, 100 years old. But again, as you said, Duke Ellington called him the world's greatest musician, as the world's greatest drummer and person as well.
Wow. Josh, I can't thank you enough for coming in today, helping spread this word, and also for playing for us. That was lovely.
Oh, my pleasure. I hope people out at Riverside Cemetery this Saturday to celebrate that big centennial birthday.
Absolutely. And let's say that one more time for people at home. The now passed Louie Bellson, the prolific musician who was born in Rock Falls and grew up in Moline, does turn 100 years old this Saturday. He's buried next to his father in Riverside Cemetery in Moline, and you can join Josh out there this Saturday at 3:30 to honor his lasting legacy.